All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you to the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
All right, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. As you know, many things are going on right now in the basketball realm of life, in the NCAA and in the regular season, in the NBA, and also lots of trades going on in the baseball world, football world. Just man, you name it, it's probably happening right now. And obviously, the Deshaun Watson, which we'll get into more later, is happening. Just man, I'm telling you, Logan, I've never seen so much sporadic activity all over the sports world, man. How you doing, brother?
Hey, doing good. Like you said, man, I don't think we've ever had this much stuff going on in between shows in just, 2 days? Like you said, with all the college upsets, the baseball getting back, and all the big free agent moves. We'll talk more about that tonight. And then on Tuesday also. I mean, it's been a crazy couple of days, man, but we're trying to cover as much as we can in about an hour and a half. But I'm ready to get into it.
Hey, man, brother, me too as well, sir. And speaking of getting into it, let's just jump right in, shall we?
I'm down. Let's do it.
All right, Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack is traded to the Chargers. I know we kind of briefly touched on this towards the end of the last show, but I wanted to kind of delve into this a little bit more because I really think for the Chargers and the division that they're in and, you know, how crazy the West is, that is – have Mac there. Mac could come in and just be the Mac of old. Now, he's not going to be the Mac of old. I don't mean like that. I mean just a Mac that's healthy. Just give me a healthy Khalil Mack. And I think we're going to be fine because he's 31 years old. If he comes in healthy, I still think he's towards the end of his prime, but he's still in his prime. And I'm telling you, Logan, pair him with a Joey Bosa, and this defense is looking pretty damn good. And I'll tell you, so he's a 6th-round Pro Bowl defensive end, first of all. And for what they're giving up to the Bears, they're giving up a 2022 second-rounder and a 2023 sixth-rounder for him, and it basically reunites Mack with their defensive coordinator, Staley, from the Bears, which is now obviously the head coach of the Chargers. And under Staley, the one year that he played under Staley, he had 12.5 sacks. And I think if he gets north of 10 or even north of 9, just give me 8. I think if he just gets between 8 to 9 sacks, that's a good Khalil Mack because the guy could pressure you. He is great at pressuring the quarterback, and I think that this for the Chargers could be that one piece on the defense that they actually need to kind of start making their headway up off the bottom of the AFC West and start getting to some contention. What do you think, Luke?
Yeah, it's gonna be, man. I mean, like I said, we touched a little bit on this on Thursday. But, I mean, they got a steal for this, honestly. They didn't give up much for him at all. I feel like I feel like you could give him a first-round pick, right? But for a, second and sixth rounder? I feel like they could have done better than that. But I think that, I think it's going to be good for Khalil. Because, like you mentioned, he was kind of by himself on that Bears defense in terms of pass rush. But now that you pair him up with Joey Bosa, right, one of the best pass rushing tight ends or defensive ends in the game, that means that they're going to double team him and then Max solo, which is where he's probably going to thrive, or vice, because you got to double team one of them. You can't leave both of them, empty handed or just with one person, or else they're going to be getting pressures all day. So I think he's really going to do well here now that he's going to get some help on that defensive side. And I think the Chargers are really making a good push for it. Like you said, they've re-signed Williams. They got Mack. And, I mean, who knows what else is going to happen with the NFL and for the Chargers. But so far, they're doing good. We'll see what they can do in the draft and how they can improve even more. But, I mean, like you said, the AFC West is a very tough division. But so far, man, I think the Chargers are doing very good so far.
Let me ask you a question. Bobby Wagner's still out there, too, at a run-stopping linebacker. If you're the Chargers, you already picked up a really good piece in Khalil. You still got Joey Bosa. Do you go out and maybe pick up a Wagner, maybe try to get him as cheap as possible? Let's say maybe around the $8 to $10 million because of his age, and try to pair him up with these other two?
That's not bad, honestly. And I think that he would be willing to take a lesser pay to be on a good team like the Chargers because, I mean, let's not forget, Jay, they were almost going to the wild card this past year if it wasn't for some very questionable calling from the coach. But I think that could be pretty lethal, right? You get three.
I think so. I think you put Bob Wagner on there with Bosa.
Yeah, like you get Bosa, you get Mack, you get Wagner. I mean, that's top. I don't know. I'm just gonna a fair number. Top 50? You get
right
players, defensive players, or whatever. I mean, that's a pretty solid defense, and plus, we already mentioned they already have a lights-out offense. So, I think that they're doing really on Suggs. We know, John. We know you said you predicted they will be before the third week of April. We saw it on Thursday. Don't worry. He said this is huge for the Chargers. It is. He said the question is, if the trade was low, how much did the Chargers eat on that contract? That's a good question. I can look that up real quick. And what was the last time we got there, Jay, while I looked that up?
You said the question is if the trade was how much the Chargers eat.
Yeah, how much the Chargers eat.
Well, I believe there's still 2 years left on this contract, isn't it?
Let me see. Okay, sorry. Okay, I see here from Ian Rappaport. It says the Chargers are taking on all of Mack's contract, which is 3 years at $63.9 million.
Woo, man. So Chargers went all in on Mack, didn't they?
They really did. And I mean, I think that might have helped the Bears also. And I feel like also, Jay, I can kind of understand why the Bears didn't get as much is because they said, look, take this contract off our books and we'll take less as a draft pick. So that makes sense. That makes more sense now.
And it does because it makes it cap friendlier for the Bears and they get some picks out of it on top of that.
Right. He said, do you think the Colts offer a second round pick for I would give up. I mean, I would need more than a second round pick. I mean, they were almost in the Super Bowl, Jay.
Yeah, I think for Jimmy, and here's the deal. Do I think Jimmy is worth all that much? I'm still not really sold on Jimmy because I don't think, Logan, I don't think Jimmy did enough for the 49ers in that title run or in that run up to the title. To me, that says Jimmy was the guy. I think that defense kept him in there. I think Debo kept him in there. I think Elijah Mitchell kept him in there. I think they had so much help around Jimmy that it made Jimmy look better. I think Jimmy, on his own merit, though, could struggle quite a bit with the Colts. Because they don't have a true number one. They don't have a bailout guy. No. They have Jonathan Taylor, but they don't have a bailout guy.
I feel like that would also help because that's kind of like how it was in San Francisco, right? They had that good running game. And, I mean, with Taylor, that would be nice. But I would need like a let's just hypothetically say a second-round pick is in there, right? I would need a second-round pick and one of your better players, whether it's on offense or defense, if I'm the 49ers, to give him up. Just because I feel like he's worth more than just like one pick, right? And I don't think his contract is too heavy. Let me check real quick. So Jimmy Garoppolo's contract. Oh, I take that back, Jay. He signed a 5-year, $137.5 million deal that goes away. It ends in 2022. So it's really just for one season. So his salary this year is $24,200,000. So I mean that's not too bad. Yeah, his salaries went up a lot. So he started off in 18 at 6,000, 19 at 17,000, 20, 23,000, and then so this is the highest it gets. So he had a backloaded contract.
I didn't realize they didn't pay him that much money to go to San Francisco. I didn't realize there was that much money on the table for him.
And this is going to be his final year in 2022. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2023. So I mean, whoever gets him, Jay, might just be for a trial run. because he can go wherever he wants in 2023 since he'll be an unrestricted free agent. I mean, I'm pretty sure that means you can't franchise tag someone. I don't believe.
So sure. Anthony Price says 100% a big trade is coming soon.
He says you don't want to say 100%.
It is.
I'm gonna say we're gonna get. Do we have Amari in tonight, or I don't? We might have saved that one for Tuesday. But I mean, the Amari Cooper going to the Browns, that was crazy. Matt going to the Chargers. I mean, man, it's where we're getting the NFL and the MLB competing for free agency right now. Who would have ever?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I
at the same time.
Absolutely. And I think that there's a few more trades still out there left to be made. We'll talk about the Amari Cooper on
Tuesday.
Yeah, we'll talk about that one on Tuesday because we got a lot to unpack on the Cowboys. We'll keep that on Tuesday though. Now we'll move on now, and the next topic we're going to talk about is Max Crosby re-signs with the Raiders, and he signed a big one too.
Yeah, he did.
So for Max Crosby with the Raiders, he's a defensive end that signed a 4-year, $95 million deal. Now that's not as high as some of the other defensive ends out there that have signed for. But that's still a pretty damn good contract for Max Crosby. He's 24 years of age. He just got out of alcoholics rehab about 2 years ago, so he's still fresh out of that. But he's doing well. He's got about 53 million, I believe, guaranteed, 98 million total. With so he's got about $98 million total with the bonus and everything. So. Yeah, man, he's 24. He's 6'5", 255, 10 sacks as a rookie, 7 sacks in 20, 8 sacks in 21, 100 pressures, which was the most in the NFL last year. And he's only 19 pressures shy of where T.J. Watt was for the most. And so, yeah, I think Max Crosby is worth the money. And I think he's going to do – and obviously he is the heart and soul of that Raiders defense, Logan.
Yep, no doubt. I'm glad with this. I mean, like you said, it's not the most egregious contract. It's kind of friendly. It's under $100,000 for 4 years also, so that's really good. And like you mentioned, he's super young. He's 24. He hasn't really missed any time. He's got a lot of pressures, good amount of sacks, also coming off of a Pro Bowl MVP, which isn't saying much, but I mean, to be honest with you, he was the only one trying out there, so I'll give him that. He was actually trying to tackle. So I will give him credit for that much. But I'm happy for this. Like you said, he signed it actually on the 2-year anniversary of him, I believe, entering rehab it was the 2-year anniversary of him being sober. That's what it was. So that was a pretty cool wrinkle there for where he was able to sign that. And like you said, he deserves that, playing in Vegas, staying sober. I mean, it seems like he's got his life on track, and I'm happy he's getting a deal. He seems like he loves the fans, love the city, love the team. And I'm happy that he was able to get his money because he very well earned it.
Because just like Anthony Price said, Vegas, if you're an alcoholic and you just got 2 years out of rehab, that's a hard place to play and not want to drink.
Yeah. So, I mean, hey, like you said, credit to him for, staying sober, being good. And I'm happy for him, man. He deserved every penny of this.
Here's a question. The Raiders got in the end of the thing. They made it obviously the first round of the playoffs, but they did do an exit. Right. But hey, the fact that they even got into the playoffs, given all the things that the Raiders went through and some of the key personnel and coaches that they lost, speaks volumes for this Raiders team. Where do you think the soft spots are on the Raiders? And obviously, I think wide receiver is a soft spot for the Raiders, and I still think they need a little bit more defensive pressure in the front seven. What do you think, Logan?
I'm going to give you a little bit of a different answer. I mean, I think that the receiving game does need a little bit of help. They got Waller. They got Jacobs. They just need, with Ruggs being done forever and everything else that going on this season, they do need to look for another big wide receiving name. And they also, I like the front seven. They maybe need a little bit of help in linebacking, but also they need some help in the safeties and corners. They need some secondary help. And also they need a little bit of help at O-line. So I feel like if you just the 3 big targets or 4, look at the secondary, look at your offensive line, and look at your receivers. I feel like those are kind of the 3 sore spots that they can definitely look at.
Right.
Whether it's free agency or the draft, we know that they haven't had the best draft record. As a late, especially in first round pick, seems like they always find their gems later on, which isn't bad. But I feel that, if they can do good in the draft here and a little bit later in April, I feel like that would really help them out in an even more stacked AFC West now.
I agree, and I agree about the O line. I think they absolutely need, especially if they want to keep David Carr healthy.
Yeah, Derek gets hit way too much, man.
All right, my friends, we're moving into the world of the NCAA and the conference final previews. Hey, listen,
there's a lot going on.
Hey, there is a lot going on. Holy cow, is there a lot? You know, you got A&M obviously beat Auburn. A&M also beat Arkansas. You know, two big-time teams. I think the Auburn one was probably the most impressive in my opinion. But then they go on to beat Arkansas. So now they're in the SEC title championship game, which I believe is tomorrow. I don't know who they're playing. I think they're playing Tennessee. So. A&M and Tennessee are playing for the SEC title. Yeah.
Tennessee got the big win over Kentucky today.
Yes, Tennessee did get the big win over Kentucky, and that was a hell of a good win honestly on that. That game was really good. And right now we got the Big 12 championship going on between Texas Tech and Kansas, and currently Kansas is up on Texas 72-62 with roughly 33 seconds left in the game. So we're just going to go ahead and call Kansas. Kansas is winning the Big 12 championship. So, yes, you got Kansas out there doing their thing. Yeah, obviously you had Indiana that just got beat by Iowa, but Indiana also beat Illinois. So you got Illinois beat by Indiana, and then Iowa beats Indiana. So now Iowa on that miraculous shot, by the way.
I was about to say the game-winning shot by Bohannon.
Oh, my gosh.
Who's been there for a while.
That was ridiculous, that's the shot that he put up.
That's a shot that only goes in during March. You know it. Come on.
Yeah, he makes that any other day of the week. He ain't making that shot. Yeah. There's no way he makes it any other day of the week.
Yeah. So also the Big East final, the one we talked about on Thursday or Tuesday, 1 of the two. My pick, I picked Creighton. Right now they're currently up by 2 with about 5.5 minutes left in the second half. So I might be right, Jay. They're going up against Villanova, who I know a few people picked, but I'm feeling all right now. Purdue beat Michigan State for the Big Ten semifinal, so they're not finished up with that yet. Like I said, A&M beat Arkansas by about 20. Houston, your boys beat Tulane by almost 20 for the the AAC championship.
Yeah, AAC championship.
Yeah. Virginia and Duke play tonight for the ACC championship. Duke is number 7.
That's going to be
Virginia
good.
Tech. Yeah, Virginia Tech's trying to pull the upset. And then at 9 o'clock, these are all Eastern Standard Times, by the way. UCLA goes up against Arizona. Arizona's 30-3 on the season, the number 2 ranked team in the country for the Pac-12 championship. Man,
that's going to be a really good game as well.
The cool thing is that I mean, some of these games be played in NBA stadiums, right? And NBA stadiums because Duke and Tech, they're playing in the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, where the Nets play.
Yeah.
At the T-Mobile Arena, right, where they host all the UFC events and everything. That's where UCLA and Arizona is being played. So it's crazy. And like I said, there's a lot of games that happen today. Looking at tomorrow, Sunday, some of the games we got going on. Iowa and Purdue go at it in the Big Ten final. Memphis faces Houston in the AAC championship. We got Richmond and Davidson going at it for the Atlantic 10 championship. Tennessee and Texas A&M for the SEC tournament. And then the 2 smartest schools in the world, right? Yale and Princeton for the Ivy League tournament. So, hey, you always like to see the small guys in there, right? You always like to see them.
Yeah, you do.
And that's what we got going on for tomorrow. And then, like I said, tomorrow is also Selection Sunday, which we'll talk about in just a minute.
I really, my heart goes out for Duke. I like Coach K.
Right.
And right. I would like to see him pull this one out, get the championship. Let's go. And I would like to see UCLA upset Arizona because I just want a really good upset.
Right. I feel you.
And that's kind of why I see it, Logan. How do you see it? Duke and Virginia and obviously Arizona, UCLA. Who are you picking on those 2 games?
Duke and Virginia or Duke and Virginia Tech. I'll go with Duke getting the win. And then what was your game you just said? You just crossed my mind. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it was UCLA. UCLA and Arizona.
I'll go with Arizona. They've been super impressive this year. So I will go with them. John Suggs says the Mountain West game is terrible. They can't buy a bucket. And he says Tennessee is maybe the most overlooked team all year. They've had huge wins all season. They really have. I mean, they have, some of the best defense in really the NCAA, which I feel like people overlook, Jay. They don't look at the defensive stats and everything. Because, I mean, those are huge, especially in college. Especially
No, I absolutely agree with you on that, and that's why it. Yeah, I don't really put a whole lot of stock in these games, to be honest with you, Logan. Mountain West, I really don't pay too much attention to those.
Well, it's all right. It's all right.
But hey, you never know when a Cinderella team could come out of there. You never know. I mean,
very good point.
Stranger things have happened.
Very good point, my friend.
All right, we're going to move on to Deshaun Watson will not face criminal charges. You know, and where does Deshaun Watson go from here, honestly? I mean,
there's a lot.
He came out, he did his press conference. He said that, he feels good. He knows that the struggle is not over with yet because there's still the civil side of things to deal with. I mean, I think he's just happy to have the weight of the criminal side off of him. I'll tell you, 9 out of 10 got presented. 9 out of the 10 charges got presented to the grand jury. The 10th one, I don't know what happened to the 10th one. The 10th charge just never went up. I guess the DA felt it wasn't enough or wasn't going to, I guess based on the other 9, he didn't feel like the 10th one was going to get any traction, so he just called it a day. But 9 of them went up, Logan, and all 9 of them came back that they found him not guilty or not worthy of an indictment. And now we look at Deshaun, and the floodgates are going to open up for this guy.
Oh, yeah.
What do you think about this, Logan?
Man, there's probably going to be 20 offers for him because there's a lot of teams who need a quarterback, a lot of contending teams. The Texans desperately need to get rid of him so they can start their rebuild process. Because he's obviously their most valuable piece. And, like I said, he's not facing any criminal charges. That doesn't mean that something won't happen in the civil cases because that is still going to happen. That typically, what that means, Jay, is they're going to get some money handed out. That's usually how it goes. But you never know, right? Something might happen out of it, but he isn't going to face criminal charges. So, he is very excited for that. So I'm happy we're going to see him play on the field again, right? All things considered, we didn't know if we ever would. So we'll see where he goes. He said that's why you got the Texans and the Eagles. I don't know what it is, Jay. I don't follow the Eagles very close, but do they not trust Jalen Hurts that much?
I don't think they do. If they make that trade, clearly they don't trust him if they make that trade. That's for sure. I think Jalen Hurts
suspend him for a number of games. I don't think they will, John, only because they suspend him for a whole season. I don't see him. Especially Roger Goodell with his lack thereof or of suspensions. I don't see him kind of dipping their toe back in that again. I don't see it. It wouldn't surprise me, but I don't see them charging him again.
I think the Eagles, correct me if I'm Logan, but I think they had the most to offer in terms of picks. I think they had 3 first-rounders that they talked about. And I can see Texas pulling that trade. 3 number ones for Deshaun Watson. I'd pull that trade.
That ain't bad at all.
I'd pull that trade in a heartbeat. Because I think even if you try to keep Deshaun and not trade him, I think if he plays out his contract or whatever, he's not going to resign. So you're going to lose him anyway.
Right.
So you might as well just
why would he resign? The Texans suck.
No, exactly. No, that's exactly what I'm saying. So the Texans really have no choice but to trade him just because you don't want to take that kind of gamble.
You gotta get the Eagles went after Russell Wilson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
And then also I think there had been rumored that the Carolina Panthers have done quite a bit of homework on him.
Unless they you know what, Jay? I think it might work with that. You trade Sam Darnold to the Texans. They can rebuild around them, right? Screw it. They're not doing nothing this year. Trade them to the Texans. That way they at least have a quarterback. And then trade him for Deshaun, maybe give up a pick or whatever. And then just go for it. I think that would actually be pretty good for both sides, honestly. I bet it is almost a $19 million a year contract, so that's not the best for his lack of production. He said, glad to see Watson's free is innocent, but I still don't see him starting this season because the NFL is doing their own investigations. I see him starting, Jay. There's too much trade talk going on right now.
I do too.
Obviously, if there was any indication that he wouldn't start or wouldn't play, I feel like we wouldn't be hearing about all of these rumors going around that all these teams want him. So I don't think that's going to happen. He said, why not go to the Steelers? What would the Steelers give up in that regard? Because Steelers don't have a quarterback. Yeah. They really don't. I don't trust Mason Rudolph.
That's where I had him going, honestly. I've been saying Steelers the whole time. I really thought he would pick the Steelers because I feel like the Steelers give him the best opportunity to compete for a playoff run. Now, the question really comes up, do the Steelers have enough in terms of picks or whatever to make the Texans interested enough to want to pursue that trade? So that really kind of, and that's why I kind of want to go back to the Eagles, because I feel like Deshaun would be like, yeah, I can make the Eagles contenders. I'll go there, and they had the most amount of picks to give Houston. So I think the Eagles makes the most sense on his side of it and their side of it. Honestly, if that's really what the Eagles are willing to do, and if they're going to offer it, I would. And plus, he's not even in their conference. You get him out of the conference, so that's even better.
Damien,
well, we shall see, folks. We shall see. I know
Seattle. That's interesting.
Seattle good.
I don't know, Jay. I think Seattle's going in the rebuild mode. I mean, they just gave up 2 of their top players. I feel like Watson will go to a winner, and I feel like Seattle needs all the draft picks instead of man, they're in a tough situation because they're at that spot, that awkward middle spot, Jay, where they're not the worst team in the league, and they have some good players. But you can't do much with it right now. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a starting quarterback.
But my question is this. So Watson pretty much said he vows to rebuild his name and everything that he means in the community. That's what he vows. He's going to resurrect his name, rebuild it, rebrand it, and he's going to do all these great things. Do you think it's possible for him to be able to move on and still gather or garner endorsements? And is it still able to rebuild his name given the tarnishment that's come upon it? I think so, but do you think that branding companies want to be associated, even though he was set free, do you think they'll still label him or put a black sheep him into not giving him endorsements and things of that nature?
I feel like we're not going to be seeing him on commercials. I don't see that much, at least not now. That could come to fruition in the next season or two. I still feel like he's not gonna get as much publicity, but I feel like over time it'll heal and then they'll come back to him. That's just kind of what I see something. Also, Damien, I don't know what the heck you're talking about. I really don't get what you're saying since Carr wants to leave the Raiders. Jay, I found a quote whenever he said that, and hold on, let me see it here real quick. Let me find. I found it on NFL.com, but for some reason it ain't working right now. Hold on. I got to find this. He was basically saying that if, he would rather quit football than leave the Raiders. Come on. He's not leaving.
Carr's not leaving the Raiders. Not anytime soon. He just got them in the playoffs. So, the Raiders aren't trying to move on from him. And I don't think he necessarily wants to move on. I think he likes playing for Las Vegas. So I don't think he does that.
Yeah, and this was in 2021, right before all the craziness. But he made it public. His preference is to stay with the Raiders, famously saying he'd probably quit football as opposed to playing for another team. So that ain't no.
What do you think about what Anthony Price is saying? Watson to the 49ers, that would kill the NFL.
That would be interesting, right? Trade Jimmy G and whatever else to the Texans.
Now, if they're going to make that deal for a quarterback, I would rather pull that deal.
I think that's not a bad idea, Jay, because like I mentioned previously, Garoppolo is only under a 1-year contract. So that means if you're the Texans, you get your franchise quarterback, you get rid of Watson, you get Jimmy G for a season, probably a decent draft pick, maybe a second rounder or whatever. And then you can couple that into next season in 2023, and you can get a solid quarterback there. I feel like that might be a pretty good move.
I feel like if they're going to go after Jimmy G, that they would go for Jimmy G plus 2 first rounders. I still feel like they're going to want the picks because I don't know if they're 100% sold on Jimmy.
Yeah, I feel like the picks would worth more. He said Watson to Detroit.
Watson ain't going to Detroit.
Nah, I don't.
Watson would never. He would rebuke that trade because he has no trade clause. Watson can still control, pretty much where he goes within the confines of the teams that are doing it. But I don't think he would. There's no way in hell he would leave the Texans just to go to Detroit. That would be a terrible move on.
That's making a very slight move up. That's going from I don't know off the top of my head, a 3-win team to a 4-win team or whatever.
Man, I think that's a lateral move, but I also think the Texans have a much better. I think the Texans' future is always going to be brighter than Detroit. Detroit has just never had a bright future. There is a cloud over Detroit where careers go to die, and they're never resurrected. And I just feel like Detroit would be a horrible place for Deshaun to go to.
I won a playoff game since I've been alive, so I can't say nothing. Hey, Jay, for everyone out here who says all we do is talk about negative with the Lakers, voila. Positive.
Yeah. I don't want nobody to say that we don't point out the good stuff on the Lakers, especially since Frankie's not here, and Frankie's the one that pretty much says that we don't ever point it out. So yeah, LeBron puts up another 50-piece against the Wizards. Sixth player in NBA history with a 50-point game, who's over the age of 30. MJ didn't do it past 30. But LeBron has done that. So I don't want anybody to say that I'm not a LeBron recognizer, because MJ's my guy. So I do want to recognize that about him. The Lakers win 122-109. They go 0 for 6 after the All-Star break without LeBron. Or when they go 0-6 with when Bron does not score 50. They are 2-0 when Bron does score 50. That tells you if the Lakers want to win, Bron basically has to go 50 points or better for the rest of the remainder of the season and postseason, and we all know that's not going to happen. Yeah. Right now, the Lakers are currently at the number 9 spot at 29-37, and LeBron, believe it or not, is averaging 29.7, and that puts him in the lead for the scoring title. And if he is able to pull off the scoring title, that will make him the oldest NBA player ever to do so. So Bron could make history, even if it's not with the NBA championship. He could make history just by getting the scoring title, and that would pretty much continue to cement his legacy as one of the greatest players to play the game.
Yeah, Jay, I love how we talk positive about the Lakers from the show, and our comments are just absolutely killing us. They're saying Lakers lost to Houston. I mean, that was a couple of days ago. I'll say screw the Lakers. Well, you know, Damian, Lakers still suck. LeBron has to score 50 to win. Yes, we know. We've heard it everywhere. I've looked at it. Jay's heard from it. We know. Come on.
By the way, the fact that the Lakers lost to Houston is still one of my most favorite possessions.
I know. That's your big victory this season, Jay.
Hey, that one, and we also beat Chicago.
Yeah, that's a good point.
We got a few in there, and I think we beat Memphis too. So. We got a couple sprinkled in there, Logan. We got some sprinkled good victories in there.
Got a little something. But I want to give praise to LeBron because he, obviously he gets probably the most criticism of any player in the league, right, Jay? Fair to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
This man is 37, and he has scored 50 points or more twice in a week, pretty much.
Yeah.
And also he's playing 37 minutes a game. That's more than your MVPs right now. That's more than Joel Embiid only plays 33. That's more than Giannis only plays 32. DeRozan, right? He plays 36. So one of the oldest guys in the NBA is playing the most minutes. He's actually tied, right? He's actually tied for points per game at 29.7. Tied with Embiid, tied with Giannis. He shoots 50. I mean, I know he doesn't have he doesn't take jump shots a whole lot. But he has a great field goal percentage of over 50%. His threes, right? He's never been a great three-point shooter, but he's at a respectable 35% clip. Free throws are down. He's shooting 76%. But his efficiency, right? His player efficiency, very good, 31.6. And also he's doing 8 rebounds a game, 6.3 assists. So, I mean, he's doing everything you can, right? You can't blame, and I mean, you can't blame LeBron for the Lakers' failures on the court, because I just read what he's been doing this season. Now, Absolutely. In the offseason, whenever he chose to make these acquisitions and pick these players, yes, you can talk about him off the court. However, on the court, he's doing the best he can every single night, pretty much, to ensure a victory for his team. And I mean, it's something that, like you mentioned, we've never seen anyone this old score this many points once, let alone twice. And he has a chance to lead the NBA in points per game at the end of the year. So I feel like people just kind of overlook that, the fact that he's almost 40 and still do it and still putting up very good numbers.
Right. And and just to speak on that a little more, let me tell you how well this game against the Wizards was for him. He went 18 of 25 from the field at 73% shooting from the field, 6 of 9 to 3-point, and 8 of 8 from his free throws. So he pretty much scored the ball pretty much every way that you can score, and he did it at a really good efficiency. So again, people who don't think that we report the good stuff about Bron and the Lakers, right. Here's your shout out. You said Lakers are going to run LeBron down the ground. Of course they're going to. Of course they're going to.
That's why he rests like once a week, because he plays the most minutes. You got to give him some rest, man. For God's sake.
I got to be honest with you, Logan. At the pace that they're in the minutes that they're playing him and his age, I almost kind of wonder if he will make it to the postseason, because you got to figure. I mean, listen, LeBron's in great shape. Nobody's going to question his shape, but man, that body just, I just don't know how much punishment it can take over the course. And even if he does, how is next year going to look for him? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point. He said you can blame LeBron because what he's doing is the Lakers. Yeah, the Cavs. What did I just say, Damian? You can blame him off the court, but on the court you can't. You brought it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true. Hey, Dame, listen to the truth, Damian.
I'm just saying you can blame all he wants for getting Carmelo and all those old guys. I mean, also, Jay, I feel like we need to put some, I don't know about blame, but I feel like some of the responsibility needs to go on Anthony Davis. I mean, the guy's barely on the court. He's supposed to, Jay, he was supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be where LeBron's at right now in terms of 50-point games, leading the league in points per games, doing all the good things, the assists, the points, the rebounds, but he's never on the court. Also, John, we're getting to that in just a second, so we'll answer your question then.
My thing about it is what really fascinates me is Anthony Davis is the youngest of all the guys on the Lakers. Big marquee names.
Right.
28. Everybody else is in their 30s. But yet he's the one that's most often not on the court. I don't know, man. I don't want to say Greg Oden. I don't want to tag him Greg Oden because he actually has played in the league at a very good level. But I'm just saying from the injury standpoint, he's starting to look like a Greg Oden where he can't stay healthy.
It sucks, Jay. I mean, there's a reason that Charles Barkley gave him the nickname Street Clothes. As awful as it is.
That's true, though. He did give him that nickname.
As awful as it is, I mean, he's a great player. And, I mean, don't get me wrong. Whenever he's on, he's one of the best players in the league. That's why he's made the All-NBA teams and everything like that. But it just sucks to see that he's never going to play a fully healthy season, that he's always going to be out for at least, a week, maybe two. And, I mean, that's going to catch up with him over time because he's not super young, right? He's been in the league for almost 10 years. And, right. I mean, once he gets even older, that body's going to just keep wearing down. So hopefully he can snap out of it while there's still a little bit of time left in his prime, right? So we'll see what he can do. But wish for the best.
I just think within the next 2 years, man, I don't know if this team can bounce back because I don't know if they're going to be able to what they're going to be able to get for Russell Westbrook and things of that nature. I mean, I don't know how they reconstruct this roster to make a miraculous come from behind and do anything next year or even the year beyond that. I mean, I just think that the moves that they've made, the picks they've given up, and things of that nature. I mean, yeah, you can say, well, we can give up Anthony Davis for picks, but again, you're degrading the roster from what it was supposed to be. So I just don't see this Lakers team really being competitive, Logan, in the next year or two. Do you see them being competitive?
I feel no, and also Anthony Price. I think a little bit of better comparison than Greg. And he said AD was like Yao Ming stays getting injured. Yao Ming, Jay, he was a force to be reckoned with. No one could stop him. But himself, but his injuries, because he was 7-7 or whatever. But it's because the Lakers aren't getting much for Westbrook. He's killed off his trade value. Obviously, he's gone. All right, you can see that he's just checked out with everything going on. He's going to be gone. There's no question in my mind.
And in all honesty, what killed Yao Ming was the fact that Yao Ming played summer ball with China, and then he played regular season ball with the United States in the NBA.
Too much.
Like, he literally never took time off. And when you got a frame that is that big, and you're not taking time off to let it regenerate or rejuvenate,
that's gonna hurt.
You're not gonna last long. I'm sorry, your body's just not meant for that kind of stuff.
No, but one more quick thought before we can move on.
Yeah.
I just, I mean, I love Anthony Davis. He's a great player, but this isn't what the Lakers fans, the front office. This is not what they envisioned, Jay. Because whenever they picked them up, let's not forget, everybody said, all right, LeBron's going to be gone once his contract is up, which it is pretty soon. Davis is going to be the one to take over for the Lakers franchise and the Lakers organization. I don't see him doing that. I don't see him being that star player that he was back with the Hornets, back with the Pelicans, that you saw that great potential, right? Just because of injuries. There's nothing on the court. He's still fabulous whenever he plays. It's just that he's hurt too much for me to really kind of be that 1A guy. To me, he looks like he's just going to be a 1B person like I said, and that's just at the moment. That could always change. But for right now, that's how it seems to me. I don't know about you.
No, I agree with you, and even more so, Anthony Davis. John Suggs asked the question: do you see the Celtics passing the Sixers or the Bulls to get that third or fourth seed? Hottest team in the NBA right now. Yeah, absolutely. I could see the Celtics passing the Bulls, and because they are. I mean, they're playing extremely hot ball right now. Logan, what do you think about that question?
Hey, I said a couple weeks ago, Jay. I said, watch out for the Celtics. They were getting hot, and here they are.
They are.
Perfect time. I could see them passing the Bulls. I really could. The Sixers, I'm not too sure about, but I could definitely see the Bulls just because we know the Bulls have struggled so far this year, Jay, when it comes to playing teams above 500. They don't have the best record. The Sixers, very good team, so we'll see what happens. Also, our boy Frankie Cruz chiming in. What's going on, buddy? How you doing tonight? How's work? We miss you. He said, shake and bake.
My boy, shake and bake, baby. Shake and bake. Hey, listen. Just so we're tracking, Logan, just so we're understanding each other, Boston's on a 5-game win streak. Mm-hmm. Chicago's on a 1 game. They just won 1 game. So, obviously, and right now, they are both – Boston is at 606 on the winning percentage. Boston is at 603. So, literally, it's 0.03 of a winning percentage difference between these two teams. Both are 4 games behind the Miami Heat. So – it's absolutely, unequivocally, easily possible for the Celtics to slip up into the number 3 or number 4 spot. And there would only be a half a game out from Philly. So can they get there? Sure.
Yeah.
They're going to have to continue to play hot basketball, but yeah, it's absolutely feasible. Hell, it's honestly feasible for them to get number 1. It just depends on how hot they stay, how well they play, their strength of schedule. Because I haven't looked at the strength of schedule, so I don't know that, but I mean, hell, man, the East is wide open, honestly. The East, in my opinion, is wide open.
Take our spot.
Excuse me.
Calm down, Damien.
I see Damien posted something on there. Yeah. We go on to the unvaccinated MLB players can't travel to Canada. That's going to be interesting, Logan, for how Toronto, how they go play, because I think Toronto is really the only game that they would have to play in Canada, correct?
Yeah, that's the only Canadian-based team they got.
And I say that because he said, well, then I got – hey, listen, you laugh, Damon, but they are taking your spot, guys.
They're looking hot.
Apparently you haven't looked at the standings lately or the scores either, for that matter. So I don't think it's really going to affect too much, Logan. I mean, if it's one team is not going to affect you. It's not running back there. So I think
the only thing I think it could affect is the AL East. Obviously, they play in the most in any AL-led teams. I mean, honestly, I can't think off the top of my head just because it's been forever since baseball's happened. I don't know who isn't vaccinated, who is for any big players, obviously. But I mean, they did this last year, I believe. So I mean, it's nothing new, and I mean, hopefully, if you're on the Blue Jays, you're vaccinated, or else you ain't gonna be playing in a lot of home games. But I mean, it is what it is. That's how they choose to have their rules going on right now in their country, and just gotta play by them, or you're not gonna be playing in Canada. Simple as that.
You know what's interesting to me, Logan, is if you go to New York and you're unvaccinated, then it means you wouldn't be able to play there either, correct?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not too sure. Because I know we play in Canada.
Yeah, if they're not letting Kyrie play, then why would they let MLB players play? So I'm thinking, don't quote me on this, but I'm thinking that New York, if you go to New York and you got to play the Mets or you got to play the Yankees in their home stadiums, that you may have to be vaccinated to even play there as well. And that could pose an issue. But
how about this, Jay? Anyone watching right now, look it up on your phone or your laptop. Let us know in the comments. Can unvaccinated players for baseball play in New York? Because we're not sure. That's their homework tonight, Jay. That's their homework for the rest of the show.
And and the thing about it too is, I don't think the vaccine is going to play a part in baseball as much. I really just don't.
Yeah.
I think. Oh God, I'm so ready for baseball, man. I think what's going to be interesting to me when I think about baseball. Not so much the vaccinations. I don't think that's going to be a big issue. But I think it's going to be the distribution of these free agents and how these free agents go and what teams get knocked off and what teams don't get knocked off, losing some of these players. Like, I'll tell you right now, Houston's hurting losing Carlos Correa.
Oh yeah.
I don't know who they're going to bring up to replace him or how they're going to man that shortstop spot. Because let me tell you something. Oh, it said, isn't New York indoor games?
It might just be for indoor. It might be.
Yeah, that's a good question. Okay. That's a good question. It might. I wonder if it is just on indoor games. That's a Google topic for next show.
There we go.
But yeah, but honestly, I mean, there's a lot of players moving around right now, and I'm kind of curious to see. I think Carlos Correa, he has links to being signed with Chicago Cubs, which I don't like that a whole lot, but it is what it is. I'm just kind of curious to see who they're going to replace him with, because even though he kind of fell short in the bat in the postseason in terms of the World Series, he was still a hell of a good player on defense, especially on that shift. Right. But now the shift,
no more shift.
Well, the shift doesn't get back until 23, so we still got one more year back.
One more year of intense strategy, and then
we're doomed.
Oh well, it is what it is. But let's keep it moving. What do we got up next?
Greg Popovich now has the most wins in NBA history. Now, he's at 1,336 wins. He just passed Donnie Nelson to take it over. And apparently, he has a thing called NFTs. And I just found out that means, what an NFT means is non-fungible tokens. Now, I've never heard of the word fungible before, but apparently it means non-fungible tokens. Huh?
How do you spell fungible? Top of your head.
Fungible.
Attaboy.
Fungible tokens.
See, we got some big brains here on the show, even on Saturday nights. Gotta get a quick spelling bee lesson. See, keep your mind sharp.
Yeah, fungible tokens is what he is. And apparently, he donates food to the food bank of San Antonio. That's like his charity that he donates towards. Mm-hmm. And so apparently I guess these non-fungible tokens, they go for money or go for contributions to the food bank. And so that's how this stuff gets passed on down there. So, and I found that's interesting. So they won against Utah 104-102. That was what the final score was. But Popovich, this is how I'm looking at it right now, Logan, and I'll get your top three wins or your top three coaches as well. I look at right now the top three coaches as the following. I got Phil Jackson 1, Red Auerbach 2, I got Popovich at 3, and I got Riley at 4. Who's your top three?
Oh, top 3. Okay, top of my head because I'm not prepared. I'll go. I like Phil. Phil Jackson's always got a soft spot for me. I like your top 3. I like Riley. I like Jackson. Auerbach, you got to throw him in there. He's a legend. And then I'll go Pop at 3. Because, I mean, he's been obviously most wins of all time in the regular season, I believe these are. And I'm not sure how many he's got a good bit of championships, like at least 3 or 4. Also, let's see here. He said the Blue Jays were forced to spend all 2020 and most of 21 in the States. That is true. Split between minor league stadiums in Florida and Buffalo. Teams might make a push to do the same this year. I don't see that happening, Jay, only because we're seeing more people get vaccinated. We're seeing cases go down. So I don't see them pushing for that yet. And then also Damian said, they need to be vaxxed. So, I mean, it looks like if you're in New York, you got to be vaxxed regardless, whether it's indoor or outdoor, at least according to what Damian's saying. And go back up to the comments. There's a question by John Suggs. He said, Greg Popovich all-time wins. Do you see this going to be his last year? He's 73. I don't know, Jay. He's got 1 more year left on his contract. I feel like he might let that one go out. His contract's up in 2023. He'll be 75 at that time. So I can see him playing, or I can see him coaching for 1 more season until his contract's over. Plus, that'll give the Spurs a little bit of time to find who's up next. But I think he'll play out, or he'll coach out the rest of his contract for 1 more season. And I feel like he needs to get a retirement ceremony, right? Like all the big players did. Go around from city to city, team to team, and get that nice
like a farewell tour for him.
Yeah, I feel like he should. As good as as long as he's been a coach, I feel like he deserves that.
You know, I know he
won't care for. I know he won't care for it, but
no, Pop's not that kind of coach. Pop is a very reserved type of guy. He's not one for the accolades and all that. Matter of fact, when I talked to him about it, he said, "Dude, these aren't even my wins. These are the team wins. I'm not. This isn't just me particularly. This is everybody. This is everybody's award. So that's just the kind of guy Pop is."
When the players jumped on him last night because they were happy after the win, went over to him, he just kind of brushed them off like it was a regular win, nothing big. And it's like, yeah, that's. I mean, his interviews are classic. They're wow, Steve Kerr at 2.
Wow. We're not even gonna. I'm not even gonna. We're not entertaining that one, Logan. We're not entertaining that
Don
one.
Nelson honorable mention, of course, yeah, of course. I mean,
we're not.
Yeah, I'm say Don Nelson. Yeah, Don Nelson needs to be up there too. Like I said, he had.
I agree. I agree.
It's just
I think Riley has more championships. I think Riley has more championships than Don. That's why I'd probably put Don at number 5. To be honest,
how many championships does Don Nelson have?
Because I think he's got 1 or 2, maybe.
Let me check real quick here. Oh, you know what the crazy thing is? Don Nelson is currently 81, and he stopped coaching a while ago.
God, Don Nelson's that old?
His last time coaching was 2010 for the Golden State Warriors, before I think Mark Jackson took over, right? So, as for championships, let's see. 3-time Coach of the Year. I don't see any championships as a coach, Jay. I don't. I see a 5-time NBA champion, but that's
I don't think Don, because I think Rick Carlisle got the championship with Dallas. He didn't get the championship in Dallas. Yeah. That was Rick Carlisle. So I don't think he got a championship.
No. I mean, he coached in Milwaukee late 70s to mid 80s. He went to Golden State late 80s to early 90s. New York for a season. Then he was with the Mavericks, like you mentioned, for a long time, almost 10 years. Then with the Warriors for about 5. Yeah, he didn't get a championship. The Mavs won in 07? No, sorry, 11. They won in 2011.
Yeah, 2011.
I guess the Heat. That wasn't him. So he didn't have a championship. I would put him top 5.
That's when they beat LeBron when he was with the Dream Team in Miami.
Doc Rivers, no.
Doc Rivers, no. We're not putting Doc in there.
Not top 5, no. He does have one ring. Does Larry Brown ever win a champ? I don't know. I mean, Indiana. How's Indiana looking this year? Am I thinking of Larry? Hold on. Am I thinking of the right guy? I don't know if I am.
No, I think Larry Brown got a championship with the Pistons, didn't he?
Let me check real quick. Hold on.
I'm pretty sure Larry Brown got I'm pretty sure he got one with the Pistons. I want to say it was when they had Chauncey Billups.
Yep, they won it in 2004.
Yeah, it was when they had Chauncey Billups.
Yep.
And Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah. Also, I was thinking. I mixed up Larry Brown with Mike Woodson. That's what I was like. I don't know why.
Mike Woodson.
I saw Mike Woodson. I saw them playing today, so that was just on top of my head.
Nice.
Yeah, they're good.
All right, folks. What's up next?
All right, let's see.
NCAA Selection Sunday. I think for this one, we're going to give who we think on the bracket. Who do we have making it? Do you want to do just a Final Four? Like who do you think makes the Final Four?
Yeah, I feel like that would be easier for now. Like I said, we'll revisit this once all the teams are actually.
Yeah, we're going to have to dive more into it because the March Madness doesn't even start for. I think it's next week, correct? Right now we got the conference championship, so it's next week, I believe.
Yeah, I forget what day it actually starts, but yeah. So this is just our early predictions. These are not finals. We'll just go ahead and say that right now. All right, Jay. Go ahead and list your, Final Four here.
All right. I got Arizona. I got Houston.
Of course.
I got Baylor.
Nice.
And I'm going to go Gonzaga. Obviously, Gonzaga is going to be in there. I'm going to go Gonzaga. And I got U of H being my dark horse in there.
All right. Let's see. For me, my prediction for Final Four, I will go Arizona. I like them. They've had a really good year. I'll go for my other team. I'll go with a little bit of a surprise here. Texas Tech.
Woo!
Just throwing them out here. I'll go. I don't know, maybe Kentucky if they get hot. And for my 4 seed, obviously Georgia State, right? No. Now 4 seed, I'll go Villanova for 4, I guess, for now. Like I said, these are obviously this is going to change, but we're just kind of throwing them out there right now because we don't know.
That's going to be our preliminary, and we'll do a more detailed bracket. Yeah,
once they all get released, we're just putting this up here to remind you all guys that Selection Sunday is tomorrow, along with a few more games. So be sure to watch that and see where your team lands in the bracket, because I know we are, Jay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Clayton Kershaw signs with the Dodgers on a 1 year. I believe it was a $17 million deal.
Not much.
And if you know anything, he gets and he also gets a $5 million incentive or performance bonus. So he can actually potentially make 22
wins or something, strikeouts, I'm sure.
It didn't say what the bonus was going to be. It just said $17 million with a $5 million in performance bonus. I would imagine probably games played, strikeouts, things like that, innings, stuff like that. I'm sure that's probably in there at some level. Look, the guy's a 3-time Cy Young, 8-time All-Star, 185 wins in 14 years. Clayton Kershaw missed pretty much the second half of last year, and he also missed all of the postseason. So what worries me about Clayton Kershaw is, can he be the guy? Can he go the distance? Or are they going to have to load manage him and maybe give him only a certain amount of innings, which could affect his performance bonus depending on what the bonus actually is?
Right.
Logan, what do you think, brother?
Oh, man. Before I get to that, I want to say John Suggs listed his top 4. He's got Kansas, Arizona, Tennessee, and Baylor. Not bad. Not bad at all. I like Tennessee. Okay. I mean, Kershaw, right? Longtime Dodger, been there since I think 06, 07, 1 to 2. Obviously he's gonna get his jersey retired there. I have no question about that, right? One of their best pitchers of all time, up there with the Koufaxes and whatnot. And I mean, I'm glad he went back. It would have been kind of weird seeing him go to another team, right? Whenever I see a pitcher look out of place, my one, Jay, I always look at is John Smoltz, who went to the Arizona or the St. Louis Cardinals for a season. That just is weird to me. And that's how I would have felt if Clayton did this, because he's been there for a long time. He's won a championship, right? He is one of the best pitchers in Dodgers history, one of the most dominant too, right? He had a really good streak in the early 2010s of being probably the best pitcher in baseball. He's still solid, right? He's still a good guy to have in your rotation. I'm glad he signed back. Like I said, the Dodgers, I mean, I felt like they were going to get a deal with him anyways. But I don't know if, like I said, I'm not sure what his incentive is, but I'm sure he'll probably get it. And I think I'm happy if you're a Dodger fan. I'm sure you're happy about this. And you get your guy back for at least one more season. He might call it quits after this one, Jay. How old is he right now? Let me check real quick.
I know he's 33, if I'm not mistaken.
Clayton Kershaw is currently, 33, going to be 34 in 1 week from now on March 19th. So he'll be 34.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, he debuted in 2008. So he's been in the league for, what is that, 13 going on 14 years. I mean, I don't know, Jay. We'll see how his body holds up. But I mean, pitchers can last a lot longer in the MLB, because I mean, it's not like he throws 100, right? He has a nice fastball, a great curveball, and everything. But I mean, I feel like if long as he still produces, I feel like he can still come back to the Dodgers. Or I mean, like I said, if he wants to retire, he can. He's got a lot of money, and he's got a ring and everything. So we'll see what he can do. But I am glad he's back with the Dodgers.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I like Clayton, and I want him. He's done his entire career with one team, and I like guys who do their entire career with one team, because that just shows you their loyalty, right? Obviously, he's making his money too, but he's worth the money. But I like to see the loyalty, because he probably could have went somewhere else. I think but if you look at the rotation, they have a really damn good rotation between Kershaw, Buehler, Urias, Gonsolin, David Price, and Andrew Heaney. I mean, that's a pretty stacked lineup at the pitching.
They are loaded.
Now they did lose Scherzer, but
yeah, they lost Scherzer. But I mean, hey, they have enough. They're like, I mean, obviously they're in LA, right? You got to spend the money. I mean, they will gladly go over that luxury tax or whatever to get.
Oh, they're definitely going to hit that luxury tax. There's no way they avoid that.
I'm about to say Magic Johnson and whoever else is part owners or whatever of the team, they don't mind paying that one single bit. Because you know why, Jay? They're always in the playoffs.
Maybe it's L.A. L.A. You know, when it's L.A., they pay money now.
I mean, they've got, 7 World Series titles in their history, 24 pennants, 19 NL West division titles. They're always winning, Jay. Let's be real here. They basically have owned the West since – yeah, so here's something crazy, Jay, right? Since Clayton Kershaw has been there since 2008, I'm going to give you how many times they've won the NL West. 2008, 2009, 2013, 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2020. Didn't get this year. But, my God, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 out of the, 13 years he's been there, they've won their division. In 2021, they got the wild card because, I mean, the NL West, because the Dodgers won it, remember? Or, excuse me, the Giants won it. And every other year, the Giants won the division when the Dodgers didn't make it. So, I mean, that's crazy. But let's move on to our final topic, Jay. It's our match review, and this one wasn't by me. This wasn't by you. This is by our guy who couldn't make it tonight because he's actually at a independent show right now. Our boy Gonzo, Chris Gonzalez, who ended his streak of being on the show, Jay, for almost 2 weeks in a row. So we missed you, Chris.
Yes,
we wish you were here. But I'm glad he's having a good time at the show, man. Hopefully we can get him back on pretty soon. But this is the match he picked up. So Jon Moxley and Nick Gage in GCW Game Changer Wrestling. And Jay, a little fact, right? GCW, right? Game Changer Wrestling is actually having a show tonight in Atlanta right now at Center Stage.
Really?
You know where that is? Yes, right now in Atlanta.
Okay.
So just a little small fact. I didn't know this whenever Gonzo picked this, but it fits very well. But this was I think from 2021. Jon Moxley, Nick Gage for the GCW World Title. Jay, what did you think of the match?
It was interesting. So
wasn't much wrestling going on.
No, but it was a lot of craziness. So they come out to the ring. Obviously, they do their intros, what have you. And the contender Cage, he does his whole entrance and gets announced and this, that, and the other. And then it comes time for Moxley to get introduced. And as he's getting ready to give his monologue and give his little whatever, Cage comes up and hits him with one of the tubes. And just cuts him right across the face with the tube before he even gets his damn name out to the crowd.
Yep, pretty much.
So it got off to a pretty fast and furious start right from the jump.
And it didn't stop.
No, it did not stop. There were glass panels that they got crushed into. There was glass tables that Cage got suplexed into.
Pizza cutters.
I mean, it was not. And then they brought out the pizza cutter, and he proceeds to pizza cut all over Cage's head, his forehead,
in the mouth.
Yes, and then the Cage does the pizza cutter in Moxley's mouth, and then the best one was then they have the barbed wire plank. Yeah, and Cage gets body slammed into that, so he gets wrapped up into that. And so then what does Moxley do? He takes a pair of 10 snips, goes over and cuts a piece of the barbed wire off, wraps it around his hand, and then proceeds to start punching the ever-living daylights out of Cage. It was awesome. It was awesome. Now, obviously, Moxley went on to
at the end too, right? At the very last move they hit, the big DDT, the big suplex on the top rope.
Oh,
and you could just see the glass just snap in 50 different pieces.
Oh,
After whenever they got up, you could just see their back was just covered in glass particles and blood was raining down.
There was
crazy.
Literally blood everywhere on their bodies. Like it was absolutely ridiculous how much blood they had out there. And I'm pretty sure that's all real. I didn't think it was.
Yeah, no. That it's hard to fake a pizza cutter, Jay. Those things are sharp as is. Also, Gonzo, I feel like you might need to go talk to a therapist or something, man. Suggesting this one. I mean, you ramped it up. I'll give you that.
Oh, he ramped it way up, and so obviously
up.
Moxley got the win at the end, right. and then of course that was it. It was game over after that. But
what a match!
If you want to see a match full of goriness and a lot of blood, go Google Jon Moxley versus Nick Cage 2021 GCW match, and you will see one hell of a spectacle.
It's only about maybe 10-15 minutes, so it's pretty short. And
it's about 15. It's about 15 and a half minutes.
And it's entertaining. You're not gonna see many rest holds going on. I'll give you that much. But yeah, really good match.
You can only put glass shards in somebody's face so many times before the game is just done.
Yeah, you're not wrong about that, brother.
All right, folks.
Topic, man. Let's get through it.
We have come to the end. Logan, final thoughts, brother.
Final thoughts. Good week, Jay. We started off the week not knowing baseball is coming back. It's back and in full force. Tomorrow, Selection Sunday. The NFL, we got a good bit of topics on hand for Tuesday. Some of the ones I already threw in. Are the Broncos making the playoffs this year? The Browns trade for Amari Cooper. Is this the help that Baker needs? And, of course, our third topic for the moment, before we add the rest of them, we have the MLB free agency recap, because I'm sure there's going to be 10 to 20 more guys who get moved between now and Tuesday's shows. We're going to recap all of it there on Tuesday.
Yeah, absolutely, because we didn't even hit Rondon.
Nah, yeah, he's going
Rodon, however you say that, guys. Rodon. Yeah, we'll talk more about him going from the White Sox over to the Giants. We'll get more into that as well.
Yeah. Also, thanks thank you, John, for the score update. 27-26, Tech over Duke with 6 minutes left in the first half. Thank you, John.
Thank you, John. We appreciate we always appreciate the updates. You know that, man. We appreciate all of you guys commenting and chiming in, man. Yes. Look, this is what we do. This is what we love, man. And I can speak for Logan. I think that if you guys want to throw some topics in there, if you want to see stuff talked about, just throw it in there, and we will put it on the menu.
Yes, we will. All right, let's get out with it, Jay.
All right, folks. Until next time, this has been another Unscripted edition with your boy Logan Landers and your boy Jay McLovin. Until next time, until Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be back.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays.